Simon here. Welcome to episode 5 of A Worthy Skull. This one I've entitled A Storm is Brewing. And for this episode, I am doing a bit of a deck tech. So, one of the sites I really like to use online is underworldsdb.com. So that's www.underworldsdb.com. And on there, they have a really neat section, tournament decks, where you can go and have a look at past tournaments and look at all the decks. So we had a tournament coming up, our local meta had a tournament coming up in Plymouth in the UK, and one of my friends, Edward, he decided that he wanted to get some real reps in and some good practice in. So and he said he had never played against Stormsire's Cursebreakers. So I went on to Underworlds DB and I looked up and I took down the deck from Warhammer Fest UK 2019 Grand Clash that came first. So this deck had 10 wins and 2 losses. There will be some battle reports of me playing this deck, but I'd just like to go into the deck. So on the objectives we have change of tactics, escalation, superior tactician, shining example, harness the storm, magical supremacy, calculated risk, fired up, magical storm, solid gains, sorceress scouring, and strong start. So in there are 5 instant scores, 6 end of turn scores, and 1 third end phase score. Now, that's a pretty solid objective deck in my mind. Change of tactics, really simple to score with Stormsire because of his range 3 attack, his magical attack. You can put him on guard and reach anyone 6 hexes away and really not put him in much harm. Escalation, standard, again another restricted card. Again, very, very simple. 3 upgrades between you and your opponent, and you can score this. Superior Tactician, it's the one that I think will go on to the possibly banned list because there is so many decks running this. So I think this could head for the banned list when it's next come up. Kind of think of it, Change of Tactics is also another one that I think could be on that banned list coming up. I don't want to see Change of Tactics on the banned list, but I think it's just a far too easy score, especially with some of the ranged attack options that are in the game now. Shining Example, very, very simple. Have your leader inspired in the end phase. It's very simple to inspire the Cursebreakers. Harness the Storm. That's an instant score for casting one successful spell cast. So really simple, worth 1 glory. Magical Supremacy. Again, this is an end phase one, but again fairly simple. When you've got 3 fighters that have a spell on each of them, with Empower on both Rastus and Amis, and with Stormsire having his own spell attack, it's quite simple. And you'll see with some of the gambits that there are also some gambit spells in here that add to this. Calculated risk. Now, when we talk about the big bad BAR list, this is one that I think will hit the BAR list next time. I think it will become restricted. I don't think it will be banned because I don't think it's too... It is powerful, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it is too overpowered to have to hit the banned list straight away. I think they'll restrict it first off, and then if it still sees a lot of play as the banned picks, then I think it will eventually maybe hit the or restricted picks. Sorry, it may pick out on the banned list. We then got Fired Up. Again, very, very simple. Stormsire, Amis, Rastus, any of them being inspired will score this in the end phase. Magical Storm. Now this one was one that when I played the deck, I actually felt that it was a hard one to score. And if I was making the deck, I would actually probably change it. I would probably change it for something like Combination Strike if it was me, but we'll see. So I think Combination Strike's probably a bit easier to score than Magical Storm, but I might be wrong. This guy's deck came first, so I might be wrong. Solid Gains, becoming one of my favourite cards at the moment. Very simple. Score 1 glory in the end phase if you scored at least 3 glory points this round. So that comes from anything. So, Tome of Offerings gives you 2. So all you've got to do is kill someone for what with Tome of Offerings on, or score an immediately card and a couple of kills, and you're there. So very, very good. Sorcerer's Scouring. In the past, when I've played Stormsires, I've never ever got Scouring off, but now with the extra spells that are available, I can see this being really good. And Strong Start, which is everyone's favourite card. Basically, this card has probably replaced Advancing Strike, Defensive Strike, Precise Use of Force, any of those ones that are on the restricted list. This has pretty much replaced them, and whether it too will find its way onto the restricted list, only time will tell. So that's the objectives. So overall total glory in the deck is 16 if you score all 12, and I think it's possible to score all 12 apart from Magical Storm. Like I said, I spoiler alert here, I didn't score Magical Storm in any game I played against Ed in our practice games, so that's that's why I'm a bit down on Magical Storm. Possibly really, really good, but personally I would rather it be Combination Strike. So now into the gambits. So we have Distraction, Hidden Paths, Ready for Action, which is a restricted card, Spectral Wings, Spoils of Battle, Lightning Assault, Abasoth's Unmaking, Abasoth's Withering, Sphere of Akshri, and Sphere of Gur. Now, as you'll see, I said Magical Storm was really hard to get when I was playing it, but between Rastus, Amos, and Stormsire, you have 3 magical abilities, and then you have Abasoth's Unmaking, Withering, and the 2 spheres that are also spells. So you should be able to score it, but I struggled when I played. I must admit, I really did struggle. So Distraction, very, very, very good. Disruption card. Can pull your opponents forwards if you need to. If you need to make up that extra hex for making attacks. Can push people off objectives if you're facing an objective deck. And yeah, Hidden Paths, again, massive staple. Wouldn't be surprised if this hit the restricted list eventually, purely because it is in every deck. And I think the whole thing with the restricted list is the fact that cards that are being seen consistently in decks are getting put to the restricted list. And yeah, I don't quite understand it, and I'll do a little bit on the restricted list at some point in time for the channel. So just do my views and what I think should happen. So we've got Hidden Paths. Ready for Action. I would say it in the voice that the guys that Agents of Sigmar say, and they are brilliant, by the way, so go check those guys out as well. But Ready for Action, really, really good. Can give you an extra move, can give you an extra attack. It's just all round great. It's still the staple gambit on the restricted list. Now, again, whether Games Workshop look at this and go, well, we'll put that on the banned list now because it's still seeing play in every single deck, I don't know. Spectral Wings, +2 move. Brilliant card. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant card. I'm guessing he's got that in there for mainly for the against the defensive decks. Now, when I say defensive decks, I mean the control decks. So, like the old Stormcast Eternals control deck. Just to cover that gap. Same with Hidden Pass, really. It's just to cover that gap and make sure that you don't get longboarded and shut out. Spoils of Battle. A free upgrade is always good. Lightning Assault. So if you miss, attack again. Brilliant card. Love these cards for just consistency, making sure that you make those attacks actually hit. Abyssosa Making. Now this is a really, really good one, and you can see here that this person, when he was designing the deck, he's designed it so that there's a little bit against defensive, a little bit against objective play, while still being quite aggressive. So Abyssosa Making, brilliant card, gets rid of an objective. You can stop that supremacy or our only way out, or that tactical supremacy. It's really, really good. I love this card, and it does go into most decks that I make that are running wizards. Abyssos Withering, again, brilliant card, -1 wound. Doesn't cause damage, it just takes -1 wound off them, so means that they're not as high. Gotta remember that though if you are going down the route of Glory Seeker, because if you put this on someone who's got 4 wounds characteristic, all of a sudden they don't have the 4 wounds characteristic. So just be aware of that. Sphere of Akshi. Now this is out of the Thunderix Profiteers expansion, and I think this is going to see a lot of play. Range 4, or within 4 hexes, 1 damage on a lightning bolt. Really, really simple card to cast. And Sphere of Gur is the last one. Now, this one I actually got some good use out of in our practice games, and yeah, nice little bubble effect where the first attack action made by a fighter within 4 hexes gets +1 dice. So again, getting that accuracy up. And in a spell as well, so really, really good. Like this. Can't say anything bad about the gambits. Don't think there would be anything I would really change. Maybe the Sphere of Gur. What I would change it for, it's really hard to say, really. Possibly one of the spells like Cry of Thunder or something similar. Just because I think it's quite a nice little ability, Cry of Thunder. But that's it. Upgrade time. So we have Eye of the Storm, which is a Stormcast Eternals upgrade. Gives you an innate lightning bolt. The seen in every deck and quite possibly overrated Fameway Crystal. Very, very good card, but again, I think possibly a little overrated. I'm actually finding now that there are occasions where I'm playing decks that I don't actually put Fameway Crystal in. Shock horror. A good opponent will play against Fameway Crystal. A good aggro opponent will play, or defensive opponent will play against Fameway Crystal. Make sure that they just block off any attempts that you might be able to get into them. So it's alright, but I think sometimes it's a little bit of a dead card. Then we've got Glory Seeker. I mentioned that earlier. +1 damage to this fighter's attack actions that target a fighter with wounds characteristic formable. It's replaced Incredible Strength, but it is a balanced Incredible Strength because it's not just +1 damage all the time. Your opponent's got to have more than 4 wounds characteristic. That's not wounds left, that's characteristic. And I think it's really good. Great Fortitude, +1 wounds. I found most of the time I went on Stormsire to try and keep him alive for a bit longer. Great Strength. Again, it's a staple, isn't it, guys? Great Strength in any deck. It is a staple. Potion of Constitution. During attack action or gambit that will damage this fighter, discard it and reduce the damage suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. Quite nice. So almost a one-shot Great Fortitude, really. Just makes you possibly survive that one hit that you wouldn't have survived. Potion of Rage, again, this is a staple in a lot of decks now. During this fighter's attack action, before the dice are rolled, discard this card, and the attack action has +2 dice until the action is resolved. I love this card, I really do. 2 things in Shadespire or in Underworlds that you need to be doing, and that's consistent attacks at good damage. And this is just a consistency card. Tome of Offerings, hello banned and restricted list. I think this card will make it on there in the next banned and restricted list. If it doesn't, I can see a lot of outcry going on. Garruk's Reavers used to have their equivalent of it, but this is for anyone, and it is brilliant. Tome of Vitality, +1 wounds, another Cataframe tome. Again, really nice. Now that Sudden Growth and Deathly Fortitude are on the restricted list, we're seeing a lot more of the +1 wound items coming back. So your likes of your Great Fortitude, your Tome of Vitalities, those sort of things are coming back quite a lot. So yeah, quite good. And last but not least is Well of Power. While this fighter is inspired, you can roll an extra dice when they attempt to cast a spell. That gives Stormsire 3 dice when he's trying to cast any spell when he's inspired. And that's really good. So there we have it. So total deck count is 32, 12 objectives, 10 gambits, 10 upgrades. And later on in the week, or possibly, or most likely next Wednesday for Worthy Skull Wednesday, we will have a battle report between myself and Edward at our Friday club that we normally go to. And yeah, so until next time, guys, keep safe in the Underworlds, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Sorry, before we go, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Really helps the channel. And yeah, these casts will get better as I go on. Bye guys.